billionaire ex-husband forced you to sing at his engagement party while you were 7 months pregnant with his child. Can you feel that humiliation right now? Standing on stage, starving, desperate for money, watching him propose to another woman while your baby kicks inside you. But here's the twist he never saw coming. The song she sang wasn't the one he asked for. And what came out of her mouth didn't just ruin his night, it destroyed his entire future. This is a story about what happens when a cruel man tries to parade his pregnant ex-wife as a charity case, and she reminds the room that monsters don't deserve crowns. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever been humiliated by someone who thought they broke you, stay with me. Because this story will show you that sometimes your voice is the only weapon you need. And if this gives you chills, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe. We're not just watching stories here. We're reclaiming our power. Her name was Emma Hayes. At 29 years old, Emma was 7 months pregnant, broke, and sitting in her freezing studio apartment staring at a pile of unpaid bills. Rent, $800 overdue. Electricity, final notice. And worst of all, she still didn't have a crib for the baby coming in 2 months. Emma had once been a rising singer, small gigs at cafes, wedding performances. She wasn't famous, but she was building something. Then she met Richard Cole. Richard was 35, a CEO of a mid-sized tech company, charming and ambitious. When they married 3 years ago, Emma thought she'd found her partner. Richard promised to support her music career. "You focus on your art, babe. I'll handle everything else." So Emma did. She turned down gigs to be available for Richard's corporate events. She stopped performing to attend his business dinners. Slowly, her music contacts faded. Then 6 months into the marriage, Richard's company got a major investment. He became a multi-millionaire overnight, and he changed. "Emma, I need you to understand something," he said one night over dinner. "My image matters now. I'm meeting with investors, board members, billionaires. And you're not exactly the kind of wife that fits that world." Emma's fork froze midair. "What does that mean?" "It means you're a struggling singer who performs at dive bars. That's not the aesthetic I need. But Richard, you told me to focus on my music." "That was before I was worth $50 million, Richard said coldly. "Now I need a wife who matches my level, and you don't." 3 months later, Richard filed for divorce. No warning, no conversation, just papers served by a lawyer. Emma was devastated, but the worst part? She found out 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized that she was pregnant. She called Richard. "I'm pregnant, it's yours." Richard's voice was ice. "Prove it." "Richard, we were married 6 months ago. Prove it's mine or don't contact me again." He hung up. Emma tried calling back, blocked. She went to his office. Security escorted her out. For 7 months, Emma had been surviving on gig work, small singing jobs at restaurants, birthday parties, church events. Barely enough to cover rent and food. She hadn't bought a single thing for the baby. No crib, no clothes, nothing. And tonight, sitting in her cold apartment, her phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello." "Hi, is this Emma Hayes?" "Yes, my name is Ben. I'm an event coordinator. Our vocalist for tonight's corporate Christmas gala just got sick. We need someone to fill in. It's high-end, $5,000 cash tonight. Are you available?" Emma's heart stopped. $5,000. That would cover rent, bills, and a crib. Yes, I'm available. Where?" "The Grand Hall downtown. Arrive at 7 p.m. Back entrance. Formal attire. We'll have the set list ready." Thank you so much." Emma hung up and cried with relief. Emma arrived at the Grand Hall at 6:50 p.m. She wore the only formal dress she owned, a black maternity gown she'd bought second-hand. It was worn at the edges, but it was all she had. Snow was falling lightly as luxury cars pulled up to the front entrance. Men in tuxedos, women in fur coats, diamonds everywhere. Emma walked to the back entrance as instructed. A young man in a suit let her in. He looked nervous. "You're Emma?" "Yes, I'm Ben. Follow me. The stage is this way." As they walked through the back hallways, Emma heard music and laughter. They reached a balcony overlooking the main ballroom. Emma looked down, and her blood turned cold. Hanging across the stage was a massive banner. Richard Cole Enterprises Christmas Gala 2025. Emma's legs went weak. No. She turned to run, but Ben grabbed her arm gently. "Wait. I can't be here. I have to leave. Emma, please." "Let her go, Ben." Emma froze, that voice. She turned. Richard Cole stood at the end of the hallway, hands in his pockets, smiling like a predator. "Hello, Emma." Emma's chest tightened. You set this up. Richard walked closer. I did. I needed entertainment for tonight, and I thought, why not give my poor ex-wife a job, Christmas spirit and all. You're sick. Maybe, Richard said casually. But you signed the digital contract Ben sent you. If you walk out now, you breach the agreement. That's a $10,000 penalty. And I know you don't have $10,000, so here's what's going to happen. You're going to go on that stage, sing a few Christmas carols, smile, and let my guests see how generous I am for giving my struggling ex-wife a gig. Emma's hands shook. Richard, I'm 7 months pregnant with your child. Richard's smile didn't falter. Allegedly. You know it's yours. I know you've been desperate for money, and desperate women say desperate things. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Now you can either do this job and walk out with $5,000, or you can leave and owe me $10,000. Your choice. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't cry. She wouldn't give him that. Fine. Richard's smile widened. Good girl. Oh, and Emma, tonight I'm proposing to my fiancée, Sophia. She's the daughter of our biggest investor. So when I ask you to sing "O Holy Night" during the proposal, you smile and you sing beautifully. Don't embarrass me. He walked away, leaving Emma standing there, trembling with rage and humiliation. The gala was stunning. Crystal chandeliers, a 12-foot Christmas tree covered in gold ornaments. Tables loaded with lobster, caviar, champagne. Emma stood backstage, watching through a crack in the curtain. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten since breakfast, a piece of toast. She saw Richard laughing with a beautiful woman in a white gown. Sophia, she looked elegant, poised, cold. Ben approached Emma quietly. I'm sorry, I didn't know he was going to do this to you if I'd known. It's okay, Emma said quietly. It's not your fault. Ben hesitated. For what it's worth, I think you're brave for being here. Emma didn't respond. She just watched Richard take the stage. He tapped his champagne glass with a fork. The room went silent. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight to celebrate not just Christmas, but family, because family is everything. He smiled at Sophia. And tonight, I want to make my family official. He got down on one knee. Gasps filled the room. Sophia Laurent, will you marry me? Sophia smiled, yes. The room erupted in applause. Richard stood, kissed her, then turned to the crowd. And to make this moment even more special, I've hired a very talented vocalist to sing for us. Please welcome Emma Hayes. He snapped his fingers toward backstage. Emma's cue. She walked onto the stage slowly, her pregnant belly visible under the stage lights. Whispers spread through the crowd. Is she pregnant? Who is she? Richard handed her the microphone. Sing "O Holy Night" for us, Emma. Emma took the mic. Her hands were shaking. The pianist started playing the opening chords of "O Holy Night." Emma opened her mouth, but she didn't sing the words they expected. She started softly, using the melody, but the words were different. "O holy night, the stars are brightly shining." Then her voice shifted, haunting, broken. But in the cold, a child has no bed. The crowd stirred, confused. Richard's smile faded. Emma. But Emma didn't stop. You speak of family, you speak of love. Her voice grew stronger. But your own son has nothing from above. The room went dead silent. You sleep in silk and gold, while your child sleeps in the cold. Richard moved toward her, cut the mic. But Ben, standing at the soundboard, left it on. Emma's voice cracked with emotion. You left me starving, you left us both to die, but tonight you smile and call it a holy night. She stopped singing. She just stood there, tears streaming down her face, one hand on her belly. The room was frozen. Richard's face was red with fury. Get off my stage. Is it true? Everyone turned. Sophia was standing, staring at Richard. Is she pregnant with your child? Richard stammered. Sophia, she's a liar. She's trying to ruin this. Answer the question, Sophia said, her voice like steel. Is that your child? Richard's mouth opened, closed. It was a fling before I met you. Before you met me, you were married to her, Sophia said coldly. And you left her pregnant, starving. She's exaggerating. Sophia pulled the engagement ring off her finger. My father doesn't invest in monsters. She threw the ring into the champagne tower. It splashed. Guests gasped. An older man in a suit stood up, Sophia's father, the investor. Mr. Cole, he said, his voice calm but deadly. The board will be hearing about this. You're done. Richard's face went white. Mr. Laurent, please. Get out of my building. Security moved in. Richard looked around desperately, but no one would meet his eyes. As security escorted him out, Sophia walked over to Emma. I'm sorry, Sophia said quietly. I didn't know. Emma couldn't speak. She just nodded. Sophia pulled an envelope from her purse. This was the deposit for tonight's party, $20,000. It's yours for the baby. Emma's eyes went wide. I can't. You can, Sophia said firmly, and you will. Now let's get you some food. 2 months later, Emma gave birth to a healthy baby boy. She named him Gabriel. With the money from Sophia, Emma bought everything she needed. A crib, clothes, diapers. And she restarted her music career, this time on her own terms. She released an EP called Holy Nights and Broken Promises. It went viral, 3 million streams in the first month, the Bible says in Luke 1:52, he has brought down rulers from their thrones, but has lifted up the humble. Richard tried to humiliate Emma on a stage. But that stage became the place where she reclaimed her voice and destroyed him. Ladies, when someone tries to silence you, sing louder. Your truth is more powerful than their lies. What would you have done in Emma's position? Let me know in the comments. And if this story gave you strength, subscribe and share it. Stay blessed.